You have been on a journey. You came to this series not knowing why you couldn't stop gaming, not understanding why a game you loved turned into something you hate, not seeing the manipulation, and now you see it all. You understand dopamine adaptation. You understand variable rewards and how they are more addictive than consistent rewards. You understand how status becomes identity and how losing rank feels like losing yourself. You understand burnout as information, not failure. You have information that most gamers will never have. And the question now is, what does that mean for how you game? This is the moment where awareness becomes choice. Because here is the truth that nobody talks about. Understanding a system doesn't mean you will stop participating in it. You might still game. You might still play ranked matches. You might still open loot boxes. But if you are doing it consciously with awareness of what's happening, then you have fundamentally changed the relationship. You have moved from being a puppet to being a person who understands the puppet strings. And that distinction is everything that you have got now. Now, empowerment number one, the empowerment concept number one. That is, consciousness creates choice. Let me explain what just happened in your brain when you learned about these mechanisms in my earlier videos. Before, your gaming was unconscious. You were playing on autopilot. When you felt the urge to play, you didn't question it. When variable rewards hit, you felt the dopamine spike but didn't understand why. When you lost rank, you felt shame without understanding the mechanism. You were being manipulated invisibly. But now you are conscious of the mechanisms. When you feel the urge to play, you can pause and ask, is this genuine desire or is this a dopamine trigger I now understand? When a variable reward or a variable reward hits, you can notice there is the uncertainty activation. There is the dopamine spike. I can see the mechanism. When you lose rank, you can recognize that is status anxiety. That is my nervous system responding to a perceived social threat. I understand what is happening. And here is what is remarkable. That awareness creates decision space. Before the manipulation happened to you, now you can observe the manipulation and choose your response. That is not willpower, that is consciousness. If you ever feel the urge to game now and you pause to notice what is actually happening psychologically, that is you accessing your real power. Now, empowerment number two. That is conscious gaming versus unconscious consumption. Let me show you what the difference actually looks like in practice. Unconscious gaming. You open Clash Royale, you immediately start playing, 30 minutes passes and you are startled that it is gone. You played 15 matches but you can't remember a single one. You feel the urge to play another but you are not sure why. Your trophy count is down 50 and you feel anxious but you don't understand why it matters so much. Conscious gaming. You open Clash Royale, you pause, you ask yourself, why am I opening this right now? Do I genuinely want to play or am I reaching for it as a dopamine hit? You notice the urge, you name it. You choose to play 3 matches consciously, aware of every variable reward that drops, aware of every trophy fluctuation, aware of your emotional response to wins and losses. You play with the full presence instead of autopilot. And then you can actually stop because you played consciously instead of chasing the next hit. The game mechanics are identical. The manipulation is identical. But your relationship to it is completely different. If unconscious gaming, you are being played by the system. If conscious gaming, you are engaging with the system while understanding exactly how it works. One is entrapment, the other is your choice. And here is what is wild. You might still game a lot. You might still spend time on it. But it won't own you the same way because you are not playing blindly anymore. If you have ever played something while being aware of the mechanics, aware of the triggers, aware of your own psychology, that moment where you maintained consciousness, that is the realest form of freedom. Now, empowerment number 3. That is empowerment concept number 3. You can't unsee the mechanism. And here is something really important. You can't go back. Not because I am forbidding you, but because you literally cannot unsee what you now understand. You cannot open a loot box again and not think about variable ratio reinforcement. You cannot lose rank and not recognize status anxiety. You cannot feel the urge to grind and not understand sunk cost fallacy. The mechanism is visible to you now. And you know what? That is good. That visibility is your protection. That visibility is your power. Because the manipulation only works when it is invisible. The moment you see it, the moment you understand it, it loses 80% of its power over you. The game company depends on you not understanding. They need you to be unconscious because conscious players make different choices. But you are not unconscious anymore. You are someone who understands how systems work. You are someone who can see psychological manipulation when it happens. You are someone who has information that most people don't have. That is not something you lose. That is something you keep permanently. If you ever catch yourself about to do something and you suddenly remember, wait, I understand why this is designed this way. That is the knowledge protecting you. Empowerment concept number 4 now. That is, real freedom is in the absence. It is awareness. Understand? That is empowerment number 4. You might still want... Actually, I want to address something directly. Real freedom is in the absence of desire. You might still want to play games. You might still experience the status anxiety, that is the status anxiety when your rank drops. You might still experience sunk cost guilt about the same you have invested. All of those desires and feelings will probably still happen. But here is what is changed. You have decision space. Before, the desire arose and you followed it automatically. You didn't have a choice. You just reacted. Now the desire arises and you can observe it. You can ask, is this something I want to do? Or is this something the system designed to make me want to do? And from that space of observation, you have choice. Sometimes you might choose to play. Sometimes you might choose not to do. But it is your choice, not the system's choice, puppeteering you. That is what real freedom is. It's not I don't want to game anymore. It is I can see the mechanism and I get to decide. One is denial, the other is power. That is, one is power. If you ever choose to, that is, one is denial and the other is power. If you ever choose to engage with a game knowing exactly what it is designed to do and you do it anyway, as a person, as a conscious choice, that is you exercising real freedom. So here is what I want to tell you. Here is what I want to know you. Now that you understand what is going to be different about how you game, and you going to quit? Are you going to quit? Maybe. Are you going to play less? Possibly. Are you going to play the same amount, but you are more consciously? Maybe that is the answer for you. I don't know. And more importantly, I am not here to tell you what to do. Understand that? But I do want to know what you are going to choose. Drop a comment. Now that you have this awareness, what is changing in how you relate to gaming? Because the people watching this series, you are different now. You understand things most people don't. You see systems most people are blind to. And I want to hear what you are going to do with that knowledge. Now, empowerment concept number 5. Your awareness is your community. Here is something else that changed. You are no longer alone in this understanding. Most gamers are unconscious. They don't understand why they can't quit. They don't see the manipulation. They blame themselves. But you understand. And there are thousands of other people watching this series who also understand. You are part of a community of people who see how systems actually work. People who can recognize psychological manipulation when it happens. People who aren't fooled by the surface level fun narrative. That community is real and it matters. Because when you understand something deeply, you want to talk about it with people who also understand. You want it to be around people who get it. And this channel, this community, this is a place for people who want to understand themselves better, who want to see how systems work, who want to access their real power. That's power. That's rare. That is worth being part of. If you have been wondering whether you are the only one who feels trapped by games or whether you are the only one who understands this, you are not. There are thousands of us who see it. Now comes the actionable insight. Here is something concrete you can do it in the next 24 hours. The next time you game, whether it is 5 minutes or 5 hours, do one thing. Stay conscious throughout it. Notice every urge. Notice every trigger. Notice every emotional response. Notice when the variable rewards drop. Notice when you lose and feel status anxiety. Notice when you want to play just one more. Don't judge any of it. Don't try to change it. Just notice. Because that is where real power comes from. Not from forcing yourself to quit or denying the desire, but from seeing the mechanism so clearly that you can choose your response. There lies the point. Play one session consciously, that's all. Because once you have done that, you know you can. And that changes everything. So here is what I want you to understand about who you are now. You are not a gamer who is addicted. You are not weak. You don't have a personality disorder. You are a person who understands how systems work. You are someone who can see psychological manipulation when it happens. You are someone who has moved from unconscious consumption to conscious choice. That is not a small thing. Most people will go their entire lives without understanding what you now understand. They will keep getting manipulated without seeing it. They will keep blaming themselves without understanding the mechanism. But you are awake to it now. And that awareness is yours. Nobody can take it away. The game companies can't design it out of you. The manipulation can't unsee itself. You have the knowledge. You have the power. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? If you want to keep going deeper, if you want to understand not just games but how all systems manipulate human psychology, please subscribe. This channel is for people who want to see how things actually work, who want to understand themselves more deeply, who want to access their real power through awareness. This is where that happens. We are building a community of people who understand, people who see, people who choose consciously. You belong here. You now know how the system works. You have the information. You have the power. You have choice. What happens next is up to you. And I am here to help you understand yourself better every step of the way. Welcome to the other side of awareness. Thank you.